Senator from Montana.
It's been 5 years since Americans were forced into a broken and unhappy relationship with Obamacare. And ever since the implementation of this failed law, Americans have received one broken promise after another. And for many Montana families, reflecting on the consequences of this law is not a happy trip down memory lane. Too many Montanans have seen their work hours cut. They've been forced off the plans they liked, and they were told they couldn't see the doctors that they trusted. The reviews have been in for quite some time, and Obamacare isn't anything close to what Montanans were promised. 5 years later, insurance companies are still unable to find stable rates that don't force more uncertainty and hardship upon Montanans. It's been widely reported across the country that rates for millions of Americans are set to skyrocket again. And look no further than Montana, where it is evident that health care premiums aren't as affordable as President Obama promised they would be. Policies sold through Obamacare exchanges are becoming even more expensive. In fact, in Montana, according to filings with the Montana Commissioner of Securities and Insurance, insurers across the board are asking for double-digit increases for 2016 policies, on top of more increases that occurred just last year. Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is Montana's largest insurer that boasts 255,000 consumers in the state, is asking for an average increase of 23% for Montanans enrolled in individual plans. And that's just the start. Pacific Source filed papers with the commissioner requesting an average 31% increase for individual plans. And what about Montana Health Co-op? They have requested a 38% increase for individual plans. And Montanans who are insured under time insurance are facing a staggering 47% increase in 2016. Increased premiums make it harder for Montanans to have access to affordable health care. It's money that no longer is in the pocket of Montanans. And those rate increases aren't just in Montana. Across the nation, Americans are seeing massive and debilitating rate increases. These hikes are a far cry for what Montanans, from what the American people were promised. In 2007, President Obama said himself that by the end of his first term, Obamacare would, and I quote, cover every American and cut the cost of a typical family's premium up to $2,500 a year. Mr. President, Montanans haven't seen their premiums decrease by $2,500 a year. It's not even close. Unfortunately, this is the predictable resort and result of forcing a partisan piece of legislation through Congress without transparent consideration or bipartisan input. We need to ensure health care is affordable. It needs to be accessible for all Montanans, and that starts with repealing Obamacare, repealing its costly mandates, repealing its burdensome taxes, and repealing these senseless regulations. Obamacare is not working, and it isn't popular. This law is a bureaucratic nightmare that hurts small businesses. I just came out of a meeting with some home builders, small business owners from Montana. I showed them this chart before I came down to the floor. And one of the builders said, this likely means that I no longer will be able to provide health care insurance for my employees. You know, growing up in Montana, I grew up hunting, camping, backpacking, fishing. In fact, I was fly fishing in Montana before Brad Pitt made it cool in that movie, A River Runs Through It. And I know that when your fishing line gets tangled up, you've got two options. I've been there many times on one of the banks of Montana's rivers. Because sometimes you take a minute, sometimes you take several minutes, and you work to untangle the line. But other times, the line gets so badly knotted up that the best option instead of spending a long time untangling the line, is to simply cut the line. After 5 failed years, the American people know that Obamacare is too badly tangled to fix. It's time to cut the line and tie on a new fly. Thank you, and I yield back. I note the absence